Right up. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this is Shantae Half-Genie Hero, the Officer Mode DLC, which is a crossover between this game and one of WayForward's other games, being Mighty Switch Force. So this doesn't play like Shantae usually does. This is more of a puzzle platformer. I have this helmet on that lets me switch these blocks around. That's used to platform, solve puzzles, defeat enemies. This mode's a lot easier than the other modes that the game has. The main gimmick is picking up gems. You can see in the top left, it fills up a meter there, and when that reaches 100, not 100, sorry, 150, the weapon increases in power, and I can pretty much kill every boss within a hit or two. So that'll be good. Sorry, I'm 24 hours without sleep, brain's not working. It's a bad hit. So I'm gonna try not to get hit by enemies, as that causes me to drop gems. And I want to reach max level before fighting the boss, which is after this area here. So there are these girls that you can see here. So I want to try to avoid all of them, as that text box pops up, though I don't have to worry about it now, as it only shows up for the first one. Though it doesn't really matter, as there is one that is almost impossible to avoid later on, so not a huge issue. So like I said, I want to get 150 gem. It's bad. Yeah, you don't want to switch the blocks when you're on top of them, or you'll kill yourself with it. I want to get to 150 gem before fighting the boss, and I'm probably going to have to go out of my way to get that now. This mode is a little unbalanced. God. Yeah, it's definitely happening now. The difference between level 3 and 4 is ridiculous. Wow, okay, no, it's definitely happening now. So this boss is going to take 3 cycles instead of 1, because I don't have max level. It's unfortunate, nothing I can do about it. So this is the Tinker Slug. He's having some fun there. So I need to hit this explosive barrel into him, and just spam the X button until he dies. If I was at max level, he would be dead now, but since I'm not, I have to hit him 2 more times. That's dead. So the costumes mode, there are 4 costumes in the game: Officer, Beach, Ninja, and Jammies. They all play very differently to the base game. First of all, there's no overworld, it's just level to level platforming. And each costume has its own abilities and stats that change how the gameplay. So for this one, I've got the gun, obviously, and the switch helmet, which lets me swap the blocks. So I'll be at max level for the boss coming up, for the rest of the game rather. As long as I don't get hit, I'll be fine. While this game mode is easy to run, it is punishing, as taking a hit will cause you to drop the max level and you'll lose a third of your damage. So it's not something you want to do. So thankfully there's a lot of gems around to deal with that, but getting hit on a boss fight is not good. It will cost you quite a lot of time depending on how far to the boss you are. Yeah, get used to that sound, by the way, you'll be hearing it a lot. Max health. And here is an auto-scroller. I hate it, it's awful. If I fall off at any point, I go back to the beginning, and it's about a minute time loss. So I don't want to be doing that. Although it does have the best song in the game, so that's good. So, like I said, I don't need to worry about accidentally picking up one of the girls now, as I've already picked up one, so the text box won't appear again.
Oh yeah!
Stop getting hit.
Justice served.
So, yeah, the bat spawns on this auto-scroller, or on the costume mode in general, are all different, so I'm not quite sure 100% where they are. I know roughly where they are, but each time you play they're in slightly different spots, so
Oh yeah!
sometimes it's not possible to dodge them, which is kind of dumb, but it's the game, I guess. So all the collecting the girls do is just gives you the 100% for the mode. There's 5 in each level, excluding bosses. And you just get a different end screen if you get them all. That's it, there's no separate ending or anything, sadly. Which is something this game in general likes. Getting the good ending, or the 100%, doesn't really give you anything else, other than, you know, a different picture and a couple lines of dialogue. So there's a 3-second black screen here for whatever reason. It's in every mode except for the base game. Don't know why, it is. This is the second boss, Giga Mermaid. A lot of people really like it, not sure why. It's not bad, I guess. Okay, the laser beam is good. So she has 3 attacks in that first phase. The big bubble, which you saw at the start, the laser beam, and then small bubbles. The laser beam is what you want because for some reason she shoots it on the opposite side of the arena to you, and it's very easy to dodge. Yeah, not in this phase though. She aims it directly at you. And getting a tail is bad, that wastes some time, though I do get my gems back, which is good. So that fight is one of the couple of fights, well, pretty much all the boss fights are RNG based, but what attacks she chooses to do, whether she brings the platforms up or not, can take that fight down from around a minute to up to 2 minutes, depending on how kind she is.
Stage clear.
And now we're going into the worst part of the game, which is Tasseltown, the desert level. Yeah, this level's not great, especially in 100%. It's very tight platforming, and any mistake can cost you a lot. First, we have a desert that we're running through with an absolute banger. Do love this song.
Justice served.
But this is pretty much the only good part of this this level. The next 2 screens, or the next 2 areas, aren't particularly strong, and the boss is the worst. Why not? So there's a 1-frame jump here, and I got it. Saves like half a second at most, but looks cool. That jump's a little tricky. The quicksand likes to grab you when you're definitely not standing in it, and that can eat jumps and cause you to struggle a bit there. So like I said, getting hit by anything will cause you to drop gems. Some enemies cause you to drop more gems, mainly bosses, but you'll always drop less than you lose, so you don't want to actually get hit, as it will force you to go breaking pots to find some more. And yeah, the difference between level 3 and 4 is like, you know, it's 3 times as strong. It's pretty ridiculous. So this is the one girl that you can't actually avoid, like there's physically no way to get around her. She takes up an entire platform. So it doesn't really matter if you collect the girl or not, as you'll be seeing the text box anyway. So this is sort of where the puzzle platform part of this DLC comes in, is in this tower especially. And just in general, they replaced a lot of the enemies in the regular game with switch block puzzles, so it's quite a bit easier than base game and the other costumes. Also due to your weapon just being ridiculously powerful. Though for some reason, a lot of the enemies that are in this mode have been heavily buffed, like the archers, which will shoot you from across the entire map. That's always fun. Yep, like that. They are able to shoot like a couple frames after they die, which is pretty dumb. And they're also able to shoot you about 3 screens away, which is also really dumb. Don't know why that's something they can do. So it's very common in this area especially to get hit by an arrow that you just has no business being anywhere near you, and you're just physically not able to dodge because can't see it coming. Switch a little over there. Not going to be too far back though, hopefully. I do want to watch out for my health though, because obviously I don't want to die. Wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would put me back to the start of the bridge, which I don't want to do. So during the early part of this game, they give you a lot of gem pots, but towards the end, they just don't. So it gets kind of cheap towards the end, where you take damage and just aren't able to refill those gems, so you end up fighting the final boss with level 1, which happens to most people in the casual playthrough, because the final area has, I think the final 3 screens have like 20 gems total or something, and a lot of enemies that take away like 11 each, so it's not great. And this boss is dumb. This is Wilbur. Basically an auto-scroller boss, and his attacks will not hit you. You can just walk in a straight line. Well, in this mode, it's a little bit difficult to dodge, or more difficult. Still pretty easy, but in base game, you can literally crawl through this boss fight and you won't get hit. But in the costumes mode, they changed him so that he leads his shots, whereas he used to just aim directly at you. So what I need to do, he shoots the balls, I need to find the red one, put it in the cannon, shoot it at him, do it 4 times, he dies. So, based on the auto-scroller, can't really speed it up too much. He does the eye attack, Matt rolls around for a bit. So you can just sort of wiggle back and forth and he'll leave you alone. And where the orange ball spawn is random, that's very lucky. But it can spawn direct next to you, or it can spawn across the arena. And this is one of the first real like RNG time losses that you can get in the run, is whether or not he is kind with the spawns. But for the second and the third and fourth phase, he will shoot the orange ball first. So it will land first and it's easy to find. Yeah, you can just do this and then leave you alone. Three, one more. That was an okay one to fight for a marathon. That's pretty good. That would be a run that I would take with a fight like that. But usually he'll spawn all 4 balls across the other side of the arena and you'll lose like a minute to him. So the whole story of this DLC is the first boss that we had, the Tinker Slug. Risky Boots, who's the main antagonist of the Shantae series, parked it illegally, and we're pursuing her throughout the world to hand her a fine for it. I don't know, they had fun with the costume stories, just sort of doing whatever. So immediately after that, we have another roller stroller. And again, nothing we can do. Magic carpet ride. With a very trivial boss at the end. So falling off this roller stroller thankfully doesn't send you back to the beginning. You just take damage and bounce back up. Though you don't lose gems, which is good. You do lose health, and that's not something I want to do because the next area of this level is the greatest. There's a lot of janky enemy spawns that can damage you for no reason. So here's the boss fight. It's two airships here, Twitch and Vinegar. And with the DPS that we have, we will just remove them from the other game. So the second area here is the airships, and enemies will come out of the ground and from the sky, and it's difficult to see them. But the first enemy, we can do a wiggle there and he despawns, so we don't have to deal with him. But you can see him underground there, they'll just come out of nowhere. So you want to be a little bit careful. Those spawns are nice. Usually it's just an endless stream of grunts there, and they will almost certainly hit you. So it is possible to flip out of bounds here. I don't want to do it because it doesn't accomplish anything. And there is a fast cycle for this, but I also don't want to do that. If you stand perfectly in the middle of the lasers there, you can avoid getting hit. But getting hit by the lasers will send me back to the very beginning of this area, and I don't want to do that, so I'm going to choose not to. So now we're inside the airships. This area has a lot of switch blocks in it. That's the gimmick of this costume. But there are still enemies, unfortunately, so we still have to deal with them. Spawns in this area, thankfully, are fixed. In 1.0, it's possible to die and be sent all the way back to the start of the level, which is not intended. But spawn triggers are broken, so sometimes you do. Thankfully, costume fixed that, so don't have to worry about being sent back to the beginning of the level. these are grenade throwing guys. Sometimes we'll throw grenades off screen and they can fall from the sky and hit you. Sometimes they don't though. It's just one of the many quirks of this game. One did not access it. So you can see I have 149 out of 150. Doesn't matter, still going to do 1/3 the damage because this mode is a little questionably balanced. Basically, level 1 you'll shoot a single 1 damage bullet. Level 2 you shoot 3 1 damage bullets. So level 2. Level 3 is 1 3 damage bullet, and level 4 is 3 3 damage bullets. So it's a little odd that it's such a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
But since the triple shot spreads, you're able to hit this boss while he's higher in the air. So now that I'm down to 133, I don't think I'll be getting back to max level. Also, you can't crouch in this mode. Due to not being able to crouch in Mighty Switch Force, they decided to bring that over into this, which is the one real complaint I have in this mode, is not being able to crouch. Makes avoiding the sun level a little difficult. I'm just going to try and make a bit of a hole here to get in. With triple shot, I'd be able to hit damage the boss down, but without it, not much I can really do. Yeah, this is not smart. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, nope. Wow, that's really lucky. That's really lucky. So what happened here is he stole the flying carpets from the first area and made a flying suit out of it and gave it to his men so that they can fly around. The Shantae series has very strange stories. That's, I don't know, it's just always had that. And that's what makes it enjoyable. So we're in a castle now. Don't want to open any of these chests as they all have ghosts in them. So they will damage us. I'll pick up this pot here to get back to max. So not getting hit now is very important. You are... as there aren't very many gems on the way to the boss, and also the next area is unfair. So, yeah, the next area has enemies that will deal like half your health that you just can't avoid. It's not great. There's one here as well, just below us. Oh no, it's in one of the other costumes behind. So we're entering the graveyard now, which, like every other area in this game, has an amazing song.
Justice served.
Jumped a little too high there and got hit. Thankfully, hitting yourself with the switch blocks doesn't lose gems. That would be annoying. Just play quite safe now. So this is the enemy you can't avoid, you have to fight. And she can defend herself from fall damage, which is annoying. She also deals 2 full hearts and I think 15 gems, so you don't want to damage this thing. Come on. So now we have 2 bosses to fight here. First we have Squid Baron, who's sort of the recurring joke villain in the Shantae games. His main goal in life is to be the final boss of the game. And this is as close as he gets, and he dies instantly. And I think in the base game, he's like, you know what, I'm happy being the second final boss. That's an accomplishment. I'm fine with that. So now we fight him as well as Hypno Baron with the dual Barons. Not being able to crouch in this fight makes it a little bit harder, as it was designed for you to crouch under, and it was not altered for this game mode, so that's the thing. But it's fine because they just disappear with the compressors of the expo. So coming up to the final area, which is Ruski's hideout, we're going to hand her that parking fine that she avoided at the beginning of the game. And thankfully I'm only a couple gems off max level, so the minimal amount of gems in this area will be enough to get me back up there. As long as I don't get hit by any of the enemies, I'll be fine.
Move out.
So all of the enemies here deal, I think, a full heart of damage. So you don't want anything to do with them.
Move out. Yummy. Mighty shot.
That pot doesn't have gems in it. This is where they start putting health in there instead, which you really won't need. There's like 8 max health pots in the next 2 areas, and yeah, you really won't need that many. There are a few more gem pots, but for some reason, right before the final boss, they put like 4 full health pots. That's, you really don't need any of those. I don't know why there's 4 of them. I think it became a bit of a joke at some point, and they just started adding more of them. Ooh. No, that's fine. So yeah, this area here, I think there's one gem pot and the rest of them are full health, so I really don't want to get hit.
Mighty shot.
Possible to make that jump. I don't want to go for it though. A little too risky for me.
Mighty shot.
That's very bad. Yeah, so I think I'm going to be fighting final boss on level 3 now.
Yummy. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Move out.
I really don't want to get hit by that.
Gotcha.
So without max level here, this guy is a little bit more of a challenge. Oh, there's one more gem pot there. Maybe they changed that in the most recent patch, not sure. But you can see here, 3 full health bots, they all do nothing. Except, well, you need one of them and that's it. There's the final boss, Risky Boots. Her pattern is
Defeat risky.
semi-random. That's a really bad start. So she does these same attacks all the time, but where she lands is different each time. So now she'll do a charge. She'll have a over here. And if I had still had max level, she would be almost dead. Yeah, no, that's bad. That's another thing, you're gonna just jump directly on top of you. There's no way for you to avoid it. It's possible to get enough gems to get back to max level from that, but you need to land a number of good hits. I think she drops 11 each time you hit her during that phase, and I was quite low. So that fight would have been 3 times faster if I never got hit, but not much I can do about it. So after the boss, there's one final auto-scroller because Way Forward loves those, and then we'll have time. It's about a minute 20 from now. So in the base game, this auto-scroller is here to escape the Risky's hideout. It's blowing up. Not really sure what the story is here. I think we're just sort of using it to get away. It's like a exit slide or something. But again, like the first auto-scroller, if I fall off at any point, I go back to the start. Thankfully, I don't have to refight the boss. But yeah, it's not ideal. Fall off. Okay, so get ready on time. As soon as the screen fades to white, time. What was the fun time on that? That's alright. Underestimate at least. So yeah, that was Shantae Half-Genie Hero Officer Mode. Like I said at the beginning, not the run I planned on doing, but due to us being behind schedule and me needing to sleep, I decided to change it. So we're gonna skip through, and hopefully the game's nice and gives us the end screen that I earned. There's 4 end screens in the costume mode. 80% clear, 100% clear, and then speedrun of each of those. But sometimes the game likes to not give you the end screen that you earned. So 38:56 in-game time. That's right. Yep. So there we go. We got the speedrun one. Cool. There's the base game clue. Alright, so thanks for watching.